Hey guys, before we start this video, I want to make sure you guys are aware we have started a Discord server for you guys to join. It is public. You guys can join. I'll be giving announcements for updates. You can report bugs, suggestions, ask for help with modding, discuss icon packs or promote your icon packs and mods. So go ahead and join. There will be a link in the description of the video, and I hope to see you guys there. Hi guys, this is Nick, creator of Decent Icons, here with another modding tutorial. So today we're going to talk about settings, how to create your own custom settings and access them within your mod, and how they work exactly as far as the user settings and how they are stored. We are also going to talk about your mod folder, because as you can see currently the mod folder is in our app data folder, roaming, Decent Icons, mods, doc folder. But if someone were to download a mod off the Steam Workshop, you can see the folder is in Steam Apps, Workshop Content, blah 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 blah. So it's going to be different. It's going to be in a different folder depending on every user. So if you're going to need to have access to this folder regardless of wherever the mod is installed to. So I'm going to show you how to do that, as well as create and access custom user settings. So we're going to go ahead and access our mod folder. So open up the settings.txt file. So if you haven't seen the previous video, make sure you check that out. It'll discuss this a little bit, but this is the default setting you're given, is enabled. So you're going to want to never remove this, or your mod is pretty much going to break, or change anything about this enabled, because that functionality is all handled by default. But if you want to add your own custom settings, all you got to do is add a comma here at the end, and this is basic JSON formatting here. So don't have a comma at the end of your last entry. So if you're going to have, for example, 3 custom settings, make sure your last entry does not have a comma, but every other entry has a comma at the end of the curly braces here. So I'm going to create 3 settings here. Leave the enabled bool, and so for the types, currently you can have 2 types. One is a boolean, which is will show up as a checkbox like this, and it will be either set to 1 or 0 depending on whether or not it's checked. So we're going to create a custom boolean called type. If I can only type, we're going to set that to 0, and then we're going to create a number, call this size. The type we're going to set to number, and we're going to set the default value to 4. So let's close this, head back to the workshop window and refresh, and here you can see our mods are loaded up. Now, one thing I need to explain to you is that these settings here are the defaults. Basically, when a user downloads your mod, this is what settings they're going to default to. So whenever you change your settings here, if I turn off enabled, I change type, I set this to 12, hit save and apply, it is no longer going to be enabled. Type is going to be enabled now, size is going to be 12, but you can see our settings.txt file has not changed, because this is just the defaults that your mod will have, and the user settings are stored in a completely different way. They're stored in the same way that user settings are stored for the rest of Decent Icons. So let's show you how to hook into that really quick. So if you go back to our mod folder, open up hidoc.js. This is the module we created in the last video. So like I said, please revisit that last video if you don't understand what's going on here. This is really important that you create your mod as an ES6 module, like we've done here. So if you don't know what this is, please revisit the last video and check it out. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create a parameter or a property of our module here called settings. So one problem I ran into is if you type in settings, see this auto import from cluster, this sometimes Visual Studio Code automatically imports things. Make sure you delete that if that's happening. If you're working with Visual Studio Code or another IDE that's automatically trying to import any modules, any libraries, don't do that. That will break your mod. We're going to set that to null and comma there. And then on init, when we run our init function at the bottom here, what we're going to do is we're going to go hide doc mod dot settings equals settings dot get, and to get the settings from your mod you're going to need to use the exact name of the mod, the name that you have here, the displayed name. I think it's caps, it might be caps sensitive. Just whatever you have in this .txt file, the info.txt file for your name, is going to be where your mod settings are stored. So we're going to get that. Hide doc mod.settings equals settings.get. So we're just setting hide doc mod.settings to this variable. Also, I want to cover one thing, settings. Okay, so if you type this, right, you might be tempted to use this to access your module and properties of your module. So this.settings equals settings.get. This will work, right? This.settings settings.get. But I would get in the habit of, whenever you're referencing your module, of using the name of the actual variable instead of this, because while this will work here, this won't work here, because this in this function, this code block here, this will refer to the actual jQuery element that we've clicked on. So I would just get in the habit of, whenever you're referencing a property or a function of your module, to use the name of the module hide doc mod.settings instead of this.settings. So let's get rid of that. So now we have our settings file saved, and we can access this whenever we want to. So just to test this, I'm going to do an alert. And so in our settings we have 3 settings, and this will be an array. So as you know, arrays are going to start at 0. So if we want to get the size, that'll be the 3rd object in the array. We can do alert hide doc mod dot settings 2, which would be the 3rd object, right? Because it starts at 0, 1, 2. Dot value. As value is this, you can do the type, the name, whatever you want. But if you want to get the value of that setting, that's how you do that. So let's go ahead and run this really quick, just to test it out. Save and apply. Oh, it's not enabled. Save and apply. There we go. There's our alert of 12. So as you can see, 12 is what we have set here. 4 is the default that we've set here. But when we run this code, we are getting 12. So that's basic explanation of how settings will work. And now you should be able to create your own settings and utilize them within your mod. Okay, so the next thing I want to cover is your mod folder and how to access that, because as we discussed, it's going to be different depending on each user, where their Steam Workshop folder is. whether or not it's downloaded another way, etc., etc. So to get direct access to that is pretty simple. Let me show you the way that works. So if we head into our HiDocMod, this is our HiDocMod.js, but these are rendered to, let me show you in view folder in mods, temp.css and temp.js. Temp.css, any CSS would be rendered there. Temp.js, any of your mods, all of your mods in fact, are going to be rendered to this one JavaScript file. So as you can see, this is our block of code from HiDocMod.js, but above it we have this, the very beginning of this we have the current mod folder variable declared, and then we have current mod folder set to the app data roaming JSON icons mod HiDoc folder, the temp folder for your mod. And this is going to happen, let me enable another mod here. This mod doesn't do anything currently, but then so now we can see we have two mods being rendered. They're separated by these comments automatically. So the grid and layout mod, this doesn't do anything, but the current mod folder is set right at the beginning of that code block. Then the beginning of the next code block, our HiDocMod, that current mod folder is set again. So you're not going to be able to use this current mod folder anytime you want. So what you want to do is you want to save it on the init of your module. So we're going to run a folder here, set a property here called folder, set that to null, and then on init we're going to do HiDocMod.folder equals current underscore mod underscore folder. So current mod folder is the setting that's being set here. So now this HiDocMod.folder will always have a reference to that variable, even though this is changing every time a new mod is set. Every time a new mod is set, your module will always have a reference to the correct folder to your mod. So to demonstrate this, let's go ahead and comment out this alert. Make a new alert, HiDocMod folder, and let's go ahead and hit save apply. And there we go, there's the string of your folder. And so then you could add, you could add whatever you want to that. You could add plus slash preview.jpg. You gotta wait for that mod to refresh. So we get C, blah 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 blah, the mod folder slash preview.jpg. So then that's a way that you could use images that you want to include in your mod or any other files. That's how you can get a reference to the mods folder. Alright, that should wrap it up for this video, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching.